crypto market has now reached that area where we are getting the attention from almost every media outlets. It's getting close to $2 trillion on the market cap. That's going to be the next big thing. People arguing right now crypto market is about $2 trillion. That won't be a small thing. As you're watching this, I would like to reiterate the fact that the price action is now above the local high which we formed last time. So the concerns of market going down is still relevant. It's not out. You're watching a lot of different people showing you a lot of different opinions like I'm going to short this market at this point, blah, blah, blah. But you need to understand what they were saying. When it was at 25,000, when it was at 30,000, that's where I believe a lot of the trap is in the market. Say, when you go look at a lot of these people who are saying get out, maybe they're right. But when we look at them at 20,000, 25,000 and where we are now, there is a lot of difference. That's where you need to just look at the market and try to read what the market is showing you, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's XRP. Understanding what the market is trying to say is the best thing in my opinion. Whether it's a weekly chart, whether it's a daily, it doesn't matter. You're going to see what I mean by that. See, you're here, you're watching the fact that the price is above this. And that break, it's clear, textbook. There is no difference. What do I mean by that? You had two candles in green, the buying volume. Smaller, but green. You got similar price action. And then what happened? This is the interesting fact. Then what happened? You had an increase of buying influx and the price responded correctly. This is all that you need to know. Is there a divergence right now on the short-term chart? No. So if you are a macro guy, what are you looking at? You want to see a divergence on a daily getting confirmed, which should also be reflected on the weekly. At that point of time, don't look back. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. We followed up everything, right? The price, the pattern, the breakout, so you guys know what we're expecting. And this was just yesterday, me putting this argument like, watch this, guys. Last time we formed similar price structure, we bounced off. What if we're going to do that? Now, don't worry. I'm not saying you're going to reverse from here, boom, to the downside. No. The consolidation there was genuine. So if we do consolidate here, that's fine. I'm happy with that. Because when you go on the Bitcoin dominant side of things, you're like, okay, Bitcoin is doing really great on the daily candle, but the Bitcoin dominance is not. The respective volume there suggests the fact that we had more than the last time, the volume, which is in selling side. Still, you didn't get a lot of money moving out of Bitcoin. Right now, you're getting even more in selling volume or money moving into the altcoins. How can you validate that? You go in the market, you want to see what these assets are doing. Bitcoin is up like 4%. Ether is up like 7%. Solana is up like 8%. You're watching it now. XRP is still below 2%. Agreed. But you're watching the difference. Money entering into different networks. Smart contracts, gaming, infrastructure, they are getting the attention. This is where you need to understand, yeah, money is running into the altcoin segment because the market is now close to $2 trillion. You break through that 2 trillion, you're going to get a lot more inflow in terms of new capital coming in. But that's where the trouble lies. Do you think all these new capital who are going to boom on the leverage trades make money? I don't think so. This is where I would say, okay, if this is the case, we're getting a lot of attention from the media, a lot of new retail will come on. Fine, what would that mean? There can be a flush. Now, when I say a flush, what do I mean by that? Am I trying to scare you guys? No, that's going to be on a short-term level. for sure. Because on the short-term narrative, you need to keep this in mind. Last time when you showed some level of negative divergence, this is what the price action showed you. Okay, we are kind of slowing down on the RSI where the price is going up. Great, you consolidated and you went back up. Now, what are you really looking at that point? Because you need to know which side you are riding towards. So yes, the fact that weekly is showing you a negative divergence gives you the thought process. We are now getting super close to this. So when people throw different numbers at you, like 250,000, 500,000, $1 million, I'm scared about most of the retail because they are not watching out for this. What if this is that phase? I don't know where that top is going to be. But one thing which I do know is that when the daily gives me a negative divergence, which would be like, say, it goes up here, it comes back down, and it does this thing, boom, the price would be doing this. And you're like, okay, there is a huge negative divergence on the daily. Whether that's going to be at 75, 60, 50, 40, I don't know. But you can look for that on the daily and the weekly and then say, that doesn't look good, and go on a monthly. If the monthly at that time is in the overbought territory, I'm out. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I'm out. Now, that's if you're trading or riding Bitcoin. This is my thought process, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but this is my thought process. Now, at that time, you will see an enormous amount of money moving on to the altcoins, and that's where huge opportunities are. Whether you are a fan of this asset or not, you're going to see that this asset and the asset group is going to move up. We discussed about this. We're now looking at what? The volume. We only have the candle close asset confirmation. So the weekly does show you that that's bullish. You got a bullish engulfing candle. You go on a daily to see, okay, are we getting a follow through? Now, last day we had a little bit of buying volume. We tried to go up. We didn't manage or succeed to break through. Today, or the candle close which we just got, had more buying power and it showed more ability of bulls, which is fine. But as of now, you haven't still managed to break through this range. I would personally like to see this. If that's the case, I would like to see this guy coming back a little bit down to 0.51, and you'll see a lot of people screaming, XRP is dropping, right? That should happen. This is that local low. Maybe you're going to come till there and then do this and break. So that's something we are all watching out for if you're on XRP. But the fact that when you are on the macro market, you're looking at this, being honest, you're looking at this. No matter what others say, open up a chart for yourself and look at this and see if you can identify this, if you can reduce the noise from the market and look at this. What did we say before? Am I changing my tone? No, I'm still at the same point as we started. Remember, we were one of the very few calling for the reversal at this breakout point, at this bottom of 16,000, right? We were very few who told this is going to bounce up from this level because there is a huge hidden bullish divergence and the price went up. Now, the euphoria is in. Whether we believe it or not, the price is in that phase where you are in the overbought territory. It's all good. Here, sellers are little, which means buyers can push this to the max. And whenever we say the fact that, okay, we got a divergence, keep in mind that can still take 100% move to the upside. If that pulls off that, that's $80,000 Bitcoin. Now, no one knows where the top is. We are all trying to see where it is, and we are asking the market for the confirmation. Now, if you are on a trend, you're watching this. Okay, we broke that to the upside. Something is happening. Remember, we had a thought process which we shared in detail about the price action following something similar to that of what we have seen in the history. That's a great fake out. That's a range of resistance which can be plotted. We are now there. Now, what do I mean by that? You go back here, you look at these patterns, whether that's on a daily, you get to see we broke that down even when the price was going down. The price was like 38,000 and people were scared, saying, it's dropping back to 10,000. But the thought process is the same. Now, it's not me or the magic. It's the market showing you that this has happened in the past. And while that played out, this is how the market reacted. Perfect. Now, you go back. You're like, okay, fine. I get that. If that means this, we're getting to that resistance. The 1, the 2, the 3. Now, are we going to go for the 4 and slow down? Or are we going to break that? I don't know. But if that's the history, I would rely on that. Which means we may see some kind of a corrective action here, then a retest, and then slow down. Now, when I see a slowdown, at this time, there is a lot on the other side. There's a lot on the risk. What do I mean? When you do that slowdown, first one, the consolidation, and then you go up, if you see there is a negative divergence confirmed on a daily, that wouldn't look good. Why? Because at that point, your weekly is also saying Bitcoin is now confirming a negative divergence. Now, for those who are riding altcoins, this is perfect. That's what you want to see. This is that phase of the market which you don't want to miss. This is that phase of the market where you don't want to make a mistake. And that's one of the reasons why I've been going this amount of detail into this. Earlier today, we went through a 30-minute long explainer video about the market, different assets for the SI family before the price broke higher. And what did I say is going to happen? Just this. Watch for 50, 52,000. The price is going to go to that range. We are now in that range. So I'm happy to see what we've been sharing and educating over last long time, 13, 14, 15 months with consistency. It shows the fact that we've been right majority of the times. And don't forget, when the market reaches the euphoric state, we can forget that this is where we started, this is where we are now, and most likely that's the top. So we need to remember the fact that this is what the market is showing you. This has been the history, which means if this played out almost exactly just like we talked about a year back, then most likely we are here. So that's concern, meaning if you are willing to bet on Bitcoin, you're literally looking at this. There will still be people calling for 200,000, 500,000, a lot of them. But what you need to make sure is to understand, okay, this is the volume profile. Look at this. Where the hell is the volume now? There's a lot lesser than that. Fine. We are playing in this market. We are now with this volume. Great. What can we understand from that? Last day I explained about the weekly. Even right now, just after a day, this is what you're looking at. A little bit of buying volume and the price is responding very well with that. So on a weekly horizon, you're still moving up. You come on the daily, you get the same vibe. On a daily horizon, you're still responding. So is the top here? Most likely, no. You will see the consolidation. You will see the price going back up. How high? That's what everyone is looking at. But let me give you one basic thing here. Basic. Everyone can understand this. Daily is now tilting to the upside. The moving average is to the upside. After a correction, after a drawdown. Great. What am I trying to express here? You zoom out a little bit. You don't need my explanation. It's self-explanatory here. Whenever you see such a correction and this is moving back up, either you are in a consolidation on an uptrend or you're starting a new uptrend. So you can actually see this, whether we do a double bottom or we just ride on after these corrections. Because when we say the corrections, it goes back to the recent past. We've been spot on this thing from a long time, saying watch for the recent past. It matters a hell lot more than last 10 years, right? But yeah, you need to know the macro picture to understand where we came from. But this gives you the idea of, okay, when we dropped like 21, 22%. Great. Then what did we do? This is what we did. Now, it has to be put into the real terms to understand, okay, how high above the moving average, how low below the moving average. And that is way when we go through and talk through this, I believe we should be understanding this as a fact. There has been time where we topped at 15. So can this be that one? There has been time where we went on to 23, 25, 26, right? In the recent past. I'm not looking in the last cycle. I'm looking in this cycle. We have a lot of difference in this cycle. There's a lot of institutional interest. There's a lot of whales and financial institutions involved in this. I just saw a tweet earlier today, and that made me freak out. I mean, inside, I was thinking like, whoa, that doesn't look good. Now, what do I mean by that? I was looking at this and I was asking myself like, whoa, if Bitcoin price is to go up 10K, just $10,000, that's literally like, $60,000 Bitcoin. Sailor would be 13 trillion in profit. The way I understand the world, I don't think the BlackRocks, I don't think, these giants would like to see these guys making that amount of money. So for one reason or the other, just to keep their hegemony on everything else in the world, what would they do? That concerns me. And that's where when I look at the weekly and I say there is a negative divergence and we should be looking at this with a little bit of caution, that should not be neglected. I would argue the point that it should not be neglected. Maybe some people would say I'm crazy. But what if this phase of the market has been true to itself? It was showing us the possible move like this. Nah, that wouldn't look great. So if by 60,000, that guy is 13 trillion in profit. Even by 52 to 55, BlackRocks wouldn't be comfortable watching that guy being 5 trillion in profit. Fidelity right now is 5 trillion. 4 point something trillion, right? That actually means a lot, meaning the BlackRock, the Fidelity, all of them would be looking at them and saying, we have 1% exposure to Bitcoin. This guy is completely in Bitcoin and related mining, that kind of thing of Bitcoin. So either you will see a huge wealth transfer without any fight, or you will see a huge rug pull for the entire crypto. What is it going to be? That's where you and me are trying to make sense, because for us, this is just the breadcrumbs which we are taking out as a profit compared to these BlackRocks who are playing in hundreds of billions or trillions. So to make sense of that, go into the altcoin market. We had delivered clarity about these. We discussed in detail, and right now it is playing out as we discussed. I'm so happy about that. But you still have to keep in mind, all that matters is altcoin for you if you're riding altcoins. We discussed about the breakout possibility, a bull flag formation in Ether yesterday, the day before yesterday. And we gave you different targets, breakouts for a lot of different altcoins. I started some trades. You guys all see that in the Telegram alerts. So you know where we stand with that. So the market is going up. We are running good. So the thought process here is, when the next leg here comes in, think about the people who told you this is the accumulation, this is the breakout, retest, and a bounce. Remember who tried to show you the right direction and who showed you this direction. That's huge, because in the next market cycle, if crypto still exists and you're coming back into this market, you need to know who guided you correctly. You need to understand what has been happening in this cycle with institutions who understand the math behind these institutions, the way they look at the market, the bankings, all of those, because macro matters a hell lot more. Now, you go back into the market. You want to look at like, okay, what if we're just getting money into one category? No, that's not the case. You're now watching the market going in on the smart contracts. On the gaming side, you're literally watching infrastructure starting to move up. So payments, not yet for sure. But, if I be honest, I was looking at HBAR before and I'm like, okay, as we discussed about HBAR before with you guys, That was looking attractive for me. I would say this is going to be a breakthrough. You're going to come back up. You're going to retest this range, 0.16. It's going to be great, right? But the ROI structure may not look that attractive when you compare it with some of these other assets we've been discussing in detail about. For sure, the risk increases, the reward increases. You need to know where you're buying. Because recently, if you remember when Altcoin was dropping, people were panicking. And I gave you my thought process saying, watch. I think it's here and it's going to bounce off. What are we watching right now in the market? It's bouncing back up. So at the time of panic or during the times of panic is where you need the expert opinion on what is happening in the market. Especially as I just highlighted, when the price was dropping here, people were scared because a lot of big YouTubers were giving you the thought process of 10,000, 5,000, 3,000 cryptos burned to hell. Where are we? $50,000. And that's exactly where close to 1,000 members in the SI family is being able to position themselves very well. 985 plus members are taking benefit of that. If you would like to join that group to make the best, most educated decision in the cycle as much as possible, you can join the SI family using this link in the description in YouTube or in the bio in Twitter. If you received value for your time, smash that like button for me. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.